Hello and welcome back. Our next game of the day has the representatives from Latin America South, Infinity Esports versus the LPL's EDG. Loading up on the blue side, Infinity Esports with Relic in the top lane, SolidSnake in the jungle, Cotopaco in mid, Renyu bottom, and support Arce.
Facing them on the red side, it is EDG with their top lane array. In the jungle is Haro in place of Clearlove. Mid lane the Scout, bot laner iBoy, and their support Meiko.
Of course, Haro is coming in for Clearlove this time around for Edward Gaming. We haven't seen him so far, so we'll get to see what he can do here on the second day of competition for this team.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, you can already see that we are straight into the draft. The last time that these two teams met, it was a very one-sided affair for Edward Gaming.
That is a very conservative way to put it. It was the most one-sided game we've seen so far in the play-in.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say as well. Scout found himself a solo kill. iBoy and Meiko finding a lot of kills down towards the bot side of the map. And Infinity, they will want to change things up. And they're going to start off by changing some things in the draft, largely with the Alistair ban coming in along with the Tahm Kench as well. They will keep the Akali ban, but this forces EDG to leave things like Rise up and available, but instead, Infinity not going to go for it.
Now, the Tahm Kench was played by Edward Gaming the last time these two teams went against each other, so keeping that one off the table might make a little more playmaking opportunity available for Infinity, especially with something like the Rakan, able to initiate plenty of these fights. But Edward Gaming says, hey, remember that Nocturne we played against you guys last time that went 4-0-6? We got a different guy doing it, but we're going to run the same thing back.
I mean, the thing is, they've left the Xayah open for iBoy once again. This guy has played so many Xayah games. This is like the comfort pick for this young player, and putting it in his hands is always a scary thing to do. The fact that Infinity have left it open suggests that they believe in their Xayah Rakan bot lane, and it should be strong enough to come out on top.
Xayah's also really strong in general right now. Is the most picked AD carry champion so far during the play-in stage. 11 picks before coming into today. And just honestly, she does so much damage, along with the fact that she's capable of building any of the defensive items out there and getting bonuses from them. Hourglass, Mercurial Scimitar, Guardian Angel, all of these items are beneficial to Xayah. Very difficult to deal with if she gets ahead. Infinity Esports deciding to complete the Lovers duo. They'll take Xayah against that Xayah, but EDG has gone for the Gragas for themselves as opposed to that Nocturne that I mentioned earlier that I thought would get locked in. We'll see if that goes into the jungle or maybe it's even a top lane bait.
And they're going to blind pick the Irelia. Even though Rise is open and this is a big comfort pick for Cotopaco, they're instead saying, you know what? I think that we want to just go for something a little bit more aggressive, I suppose. He only has one Irelia game during the regular season.
Yeah.
That's assuming it does go into the mid lane. It could, of course, be moved up towards the top side, but Relic more known for his tanky style champions.
EDG deciding that they're going to get some tank ability here as well, grabbing Leona in the bottom lane to support that Xayah. This is one of those champions that it does one thing and it does it really well, and that's called going in.
Yep, and crowd control. And you pair that up with a level 6 Xayah, you have a huge amount of kill pressure. So Infinity having confidence in their Xayah Rakan. We'll see how well they hold up against iBoy and Meiko, who last time handily dealt with them during the laning phase.
Getting into the second part of the bans now. Edward Gaming deciding to ban away the Olaf, making sure that he's not prowling around the jungle, shutting down the early game. LeBlanc banned out by Infinity. They had to play against this last time. That's what Scout was on, and he had an incredible performance for himself. 6-1-5 on that pick. Will not be allowed to run that one back here for a second time. Wouldn't
be surprised if we saw a Rise ban come out from Infinity as well, kind of take the two most played champions from Scout away from him. Edward actually taking the Ornn away is quite interesting. They want to deny Relic that engage option, maybe force him onto something like a Mundo or a Cho'Gath and kind of top lane tanks we haven't seen from them, and maybe they're relying on the fact that Relic doesn't play Sion, or maybe they'll look to prioritize the Sion themselves.
Sion still available. Maybe it gets banned away. Who knows? Nope. Cassiopeia. Infinity saying no. Stay off of this pick. We're not allowing Scout to have that one either. Really paying a lot of respect towards him, with 3 out of 5 of those bans being targeted towards the mid lane overall. As Edward Gaming decides, what's it going to be? Could it just be the Galio? Xayah could Killer Instinct into the middle of the team, and then you support her with the Galio, but it looks like maybe that's a top lane Gragas, and Edward Gaming's going for something else.
Can't talk about the hovers, Flowers.
We can't talk about the hovers. I committed the cardinal sin. That's my bad. We're not talking about hovers anymore with EDG. They're too good at the bait and switch, and Now they're going to pick up the Galio for themselves. Does synergize really well with anything that wants to dive in.
It's great for playing around the bot lane as well. And you can see that when you have a Leona, that's a lot of setup potential for maybe going for dives, maybe just going for fights. And I think that what Edward Gaming has so far drafted is a lot of fighting. They have good scaling, especially with the Galio and the Xayah, but they can also force plays in the early game with this Leona and Galio duo. So I'm looking forward to seeing them execute upon this as Infinity round out their draft.
Infinity will pick up the Nocturne and the Sion for themselves. I already mentioned that the Nocturne was the pick that Edward Gaming used last time in their decisive victory over Infinity. This time around, it's SolidSnake that will be on the pick. He played Camille into it in that first game and did not have a very good game for himself. Camille Jungle, one of those champions that once it tends to stay there. And EDG say, all right, you're going to play a champion with some telegraph CC. That sounds like it's a good time to repose.
So Ray going for a bit of a fan favorite with the Fiora. We haven't seen the champion for a while. From what I can see, he hasn't played it once during the regular season, but definitely a big power confidence play, I would say, from the EDG top laner.
And remember, back when Ray used to be in the North American LCS, it was him and Impact in the top lane. The sword and shield, they called him. Ray was the sword for a reason. Now he's playing a champion that is very demonstrative of that fact. We'll see how well he can carry on this champ. We know if Fiora gets ahead, she is an absolute monster to have to deal with, especially in a split push situation. I mean, in this game, yeah, you have capable split pushers that can go up against her with something like an Irelia, or if a Sion gets ahead and he's tanky, all right, he'll do okay as well, but if Ray gets up and running, ooh, that's scary. And remember, 25 minutes, 20 kills the last time around. EDG made a very quick game.
Yes, they certainly did. Will they go for more of a scaling option, or will they go for the hard aggressive early game time? We'll have to wait and see. What we do know is that when they have the Galio, it's very easy for them to play on the side lanes as well. 1-3-1 team fighting as well, while Fiora's not considered the strongest when you have a Leona, a Xayah, and a Galio, compared with piled on with a Gragas as well. They have a lot of team fighting tools, and you think about Infinity drafting a lot of AD damage. Once they hit level 6, there are a lot of lanes that they can look to play around, but will they be able to execute against this ADG squad that was able to solo kill them across the board last time?
And mental game is the name of the game here this time around, Vedius. I think for Infinity, you've just got to be able to wash away the memories of that first day, of that first game from your mind. Don't let that play into this. Don't psych yourselves out going up against EDG, and just come in here and play the best game you can, because Infinity is 0-2 after day one. If you want to have a chance at moving on, you need to find wins here. It's time to turn it on. It's do or die. Step up or go home.
You know, and it's funny because we were talking just before the game, Flowers, about like EDG and as an organization and their history, and whenever they look really dominant, whenever they get that hyped up, that's often when they often get upset. You think back to when they were upset against H2K in the World's Group Stages, and then even last year, they came into groups and they ended up going 0-3, and like EDG is the kind
kryptonite.
Yeah, EDG is the just kind of team where like, on paper, they look really good, and then we even saw them play really well, but then they suddenly get upset. So I'm just watching this EDG with hesitation. Like, okay, they've locked in Fiora. You know, the reason why she kind of fell out of the meta was because of Bramble Vest and all those armor items that you can stack up in lane, especially on a Sion who's pretty devastating to deal with in the early laning phase. And if SolidSnake can find a couple of early ganks, it's not out of the realm of possibility for Infinity to be able to find an upset win, but it's really going to rely on how well they utilize that level 6 mark. Nocturne ultimate, the Xayah Rakan engage. They need to be the ones to get a jump on the gun before EDG can start the snowball roll.
But EDG is one of those teams that early game is just how they play League of Legends. They seem so in their element in the early stages, and we'll see if Infinity can do anything about that. And for Infinity, man, this is the first time that Rainbow 7, formerly known as Lion Gaming, hasn't represented the region internationally. Infinity's got some pretty big shoes to fill. If you show up to play-ins as the first team that isn't Rainbow 7, and you have a very poor performance, well then the question becomes, why didn't we just send Rainbow 7? What is this? You've got to make your region proud. That's what these guys want to do. Well, Scout.
Oh, not again, not again.
Good Lord, man.
Remember that Scout did solo kill Cotopaco last time, but it was a LeBlanc into Lulu matchup. I half expected it. This is Irelia into Galio. You definitely should not be getting that low this early on into the game. You have to respect the early game Galio damage just a little bit more. But Scout doing what he often does and just likes to get in your face.
Scout's having a good time so far. I mean, EDG is one of those teams that heading into play-ins, people looked at it and said, yeah, this is one of your powerhouse teams here. This is a team everybody expects to get out. Everybody expects to take first seed, and for good reason. They made it all the way to the quarterfinals in the LPL summer split before they were eliminated there, then won through the gauntlet, which of course did put them at third seed, so it's why they're competing in the play-in stage right now. But this squad has some players on it that have plenty of experience under their belts. It also has players who have emerged into the scene more recently but have just had superstar performances like iBoy. This guy in the bottom lane who the very first game that he played against Infinity, also playing on the Xayah 9-1-2. That's not the kind of number that you can just scoff at.
I mean, you think back to his World performance last year as well. I remember his Twitch getting a pretty insane outplay in a very important game that I unfortunately can't remember. I want to say it was against SKT, but what I do remember is his great performance, and he has been gaining that experience, and I look forward to seeing how well he can perform. A win here for EDG will result in securing that first seed of the group. They will then be locked in the top, and they will have to go against one of the second seeds. And we know a couple of them already locked in for Detonation, Focus Me, and Gambit. And obviously, they cannot end up against whoever the second seed from this group is.
Topside Relic will just continue pushing up for now. You kind of expect Sion to have control over this lane early on. Fiora is one of those champions, needs to scale up a bit. Meanwhile, back in the bottom lane, it is a CS lead for iBoy and Meiko over their opponents who, honestly, Xayah and Rakan for the longest time were like the name of the game in bottom lane duos. They had so much power, and while it's not quite to that extremity today, it's still a duo that has quite a lot of capability between the two of them, especially, like you said, once they hit that level 6, when you consider they have a jungler like Nocturne. But just the quality of players you're going up against in this EDG bottom lane, you really got to respect what these guys can do, because if you don't play it right, they've got the outplay.
Yes, they do. It's one of those things about Leona where you kind of want the Rakan to engage upon you, and then you can go for that counter engage, which is why they have so much pressure in the bot lane right now, because if Infinity try to force anything, they can instantly get punished for it. But the mid lane is really the story of the game right now for EDG. Haro is here, the replacement jungler for Clear Love, the jungler that they often relied on heavily during the regular season, and the significantly more aggressive jungler in the early game as well.
Now, the thing is, there's quite a lot of minions here. You've also got the Nocturne still hanging around here too. Cotopaco going to be in some trouble. The gank comes in, the damage goes through. Cotopaco trying to flash out, get himself away on this one, down to 200 HP, drinking the potion, healing up. Winds of War come through, takes him down to 100 HP, tries to buy some time, but nope. Haro says, take a drink, buddy. First blood over to EDG.
And EDG do it once again. They find the first kill in the game 5 minutes into the game. It's not a 1v1 this time around, but Haro doing what he often does, which is look for early ganks and set up the success for EDG.
Haro only level 3 before that gank, did spend some time looking for opportunities bottom lane. SolidSnake level 5, making his way down towards the bottom lane now, trying to find the gank here on the EDG bottom laners. iBoy has to flash out, keeping himself alive. Meiko also going to be pulling himself back there with the Zenith Blade to make the escape. TP going to be channeled. Meiko with a flash forward into the stun, and the damage reigns true as Scout picks up kill number 2.
And EDG as a team always impress me with how quickly they're able to react to plays as we see more fighting.
All right, they're not reacting to anything here. They're the ones being proactive going in. Arce getting himself back. SolidSnake also going to be kept alive on that one, but Meiko is just fearless here on the Leona. Haro shows up now as well to make sure that if they're sticking around, they are going to be taken down. Scout decides to go all the way in, and the Winds of War will find their target. 3-0 EDG. Vedius, this is looking eerily reminiscent of a moment just 2 days ago.
Oh, it's so similar in how EDG are just demolishing Infinity in this early game. We talked about how the level 6 mark could be the turning point, and after the death in mid, I respect SolidSnake for trying to get some kind of play in the bot. Now, they are able to get the flash out from iBoy pretty quickly, but the TP almost instantly, once Infinity have just slightly overextended. Then you see Meiko flash stun, just in time for the taunt to come in. There's no time for Renyu to react. That allows EDG to get that initial kill, and then Scout's just like, wait. You're level 4. Archie, come over here. Let's hug it out. Looks like Archie didn't want to hug it out.
Nah, not the kind of hug you want. The gold has already started ballooning in the favor of EDG. Here's a look at how things looked the first time these two teams played. Notice there is not a speck of red on that graph.
That is quite accurate, yeah.
It is just one big, tall, blue mountain range. And that's what EDG did. They ran away with the entirety of the game. Infinity never found a way back in. Things are starting off incredibly EDG favored this time around, and the name of the game for Infinity is staunch that bleeding. Find some band-aids, find something. Make sure you don't allow them to continue building this, because if EDG gets that early game lead, man, it's gonna be another fast game.
I will be honest, if you are this far down, this early on into the game, it is often like you've just lost your leg, especially against EDG, but that's not to say that a man can't walk without his leg. Now, the thing for Infinity is they're still approaching those level 6 marks. You can see SolidSnake has hit it, and Arce very close to reaching level 6 himself. There's no flashes towards the bot side of the map. The most important thing is that Infinity stops Scout from ulting bot lane. If they're able to do that, maybe they can find some kills. Maybe they can stop the bleeding, and they can start applying the prosthetic to start walking again in this game.
Now, SolidSnake has been doing a good job farming. He's essentially been a level up on Haro throughout the entirety of this game, from level 4 to 3, now level 7 compared to level 6. They'll have to see if they can make a play with him, as the grand challenge has been issued here on the top side. The healing coming out means Ray is totally in control of this trade. Ray with a CS lead in the top lane, Scout with a CS lead in the mid lane, quite a CS lead for iBoy on the bottom side of the map after the way things transpired earlier. EDG is taking over all across Summoner's Rift, and now they're deciding that the one unconquered territory they have is the neutral objective. So why not head on over, grab some early bonus damage for your team. Infernal Drake picked up for Edward Gaming. Just 9 minutes in, it's another element going in their favor.
Yes. So EDG just using the early game lead that they have to secure a couple of extra objectives. Again, though, the level 6 marks have been hit. Ultis are available. This is where I kind of want to see Infinity try to force a play before the gold lead gets insurmountable from the side of EDG. Haro is there first, though, and you can see Meiko sitting in the brush. Predator has been popped.
Predator pop, but Zenith Blade missing from Meiko means that EDG decides to call this one off, at least for now. Haro coming back around, seeing if maybe he can find the explosive cask into something. Doesn't want to risk going underneath the turret, getting charmed up and chain CC'd, bursted down. The Gragas isn't tanky. Stopwatch just now comes online for him as the clock ticks 10 minutes. Haro going for the cautious play there, not wanting to overcommit to something when you're already ahead like this. I can respect that one. As mid lane, you can see Scout heading up towards the top part of the map. The Sion ultimate noise means that Relic's heading back to lane with that one. A SolidSnake might be setting something up here on the bottom side.
All right, here we go.
There comes the play. It's going to be 3v3, though. They ran to the side of EDG, but they're still going to lose their AD carry. He's already been taken down. The damage goes through, and now Meiko might be in some trouble here himself. SolidSnake coming out, not going to find the mark on the enemy AD carry. A double kill over now to the side of Infinity Esports. Can they make it a triple? The auto won't find its way in, but they've got the fight.
And this is what we were waiting for, but now Ray arrives in the bot lane. EDG, they're looking for something back.
Ray wants to try to finish somebody off here. Can he get the kill onto Renyu? Does do so. Grand challenge going to be healing him back up now as well, but will it be enough? He grabs the double onto SolidSnake. Enemy jungler down. The Sion can't find the counter kill just yet. The heal from the Vital, not quite enough.
So in a 1 versus 3, Ray is able to find himself 2 kills, but once Relic arrives, he shuts him down and gets a kill back for Infinity. 3 for 2 is the overall exchange, but at least Infinity, they get themselves on the board.
3 for 2 for Infinity. They're on the board. They close that gold gap up to under 1K now. You also got a little bit of extra money because the Fiora got 2 kills and then you killed her, so I guess we're gonna find a silver lining on that cloud. You've still got ways to go, but this team strikes back. That's what you wanted to see from Infinity. The ability to fall behind and still stay relevant. Nice moves there from Cotopaco, getting himself away from Scout and back to his turret.
So this is what we wanted to see from the team. They hit the level 6, and then they try to force a play. Now, while the jungler from EDG was there for the counter gank, the burst from SolidSnake and Renyu was more than enough to secure the kill onto iBoy, and we said it, they didn't have their summoner spells available. It was really unlucky that they couldn't quite secure that kill, but then Ray joins the fight. Infinity, they just want to push the wave out before they go for the reset, and while the TP comes in immediately, Ray just does more than enough damage combined with the healing to find the kills needed to at least get something back for EDG.
EDG still ahead in this game, but it's not going to be one of those games that you just completely get to take over from start to finish. Infinity fighting back so far, getting value out of the Nocturne ultimate, and again, that's the name of the game. use SolidSnake, find advantages with the paranoia, collapse and punish, use the burst potential, the wombo combo that this duo lane of Renyu and Arce have. Now they've rotated towards the top side. You can see the lane swap has happened for both teams. Still CS leads across the board for EDG in pretty much every position. They've got that gold lead back up to over 1K now. See if they can make anything happen here in the mid lane. Meiko thinking about it as Cotopaco goes far forward. The teleport comes through. Here we go, EDG. You find your way onto Cotopaco. He does have the flash available, ready to go. Haro gliding himself in there ever so gracefully with the body slam. They'll take the flash for free, summon the Rift Herald in mid, and go for the objective.
Now, this is EDG often relying on that early game power of theirs, moving from top to mid extremely quickly. They've already picked up the Rift Herald, and this will be the first tower of the game going down very early on.
Bonus gold for EDG takes them almost back up to that 2K point they were at earlier before some of those shutdowns came in the bottom lane team fight. They're continuing doing what we know EDG to do best, making the early game happen. But at the same time, let's go back to win conditions. Let's go back to, I guess we're at staying alive conditions. Let's go back to staunching that bleeding because Infinity have done that. The lead hasn't gotten more severe than it was after those first few kills. What was it, 6 minutes into the game? You've almost survived another 10 minutes without the lead getting completely out of control. And if you can get EDG into the mid game without them just completely dominating the game, you stand a chance.
Yes, you do, because EDG, especially with Haro, once they get past the 15-20 minute mark, is when they start to make mistakes, when they start to get overzealous. They try to force way too many plays, and that is a window of opportunity for Infinity. You know, the fact that EDG often make those mid-game decision errors and can't just rely off of an early-game snowball. So that's why kind of slowing the snowball down is really important for Infinity, and the fact that Cotopaco was able to avoid that gank is a very big deal, but they still lose their tower, and it doesn't mean that Infinity can just sit back and let EDG control the map. They need to be proactive themselves, and again, it revolves around this bot lane. Arce and Renyu, combined with SolidSnake, need to be the ones to try and force kills onto iBoy, but it's going to be that much harder now that his summoner spells are back up.
You can see this EDG gank squad roaming around right now, seeing if they can make any plays happen. Predator going to be channeled from Haru. Looking for the engage here. EDG moving forward, 4 men strong. Infinity ready to maybe make a counterattack go through here. Sion ultimate up towards the fight, looking to start something off. Scout goes in, able to find the 3-man taunt into the Winds of War now as well. Looking to channel the ulti, not going to be able to do it. Arce's already going to be taken out of the fight though as the Irelia ultimate finds its way into the middle of the mix. Infinity still looking to strike back. Its health bars low on all sides as Haro's going to drop the Relic. They're still going to find more damage at the taunts. The shutdown credit over to Galio, grab the kill onto the enemy Sion. Ray gets the kill to Cotopaco. It's a double kill for him. SolidSnake's also going to be dropping as EDG is popping off. They take down everybody on Infinity except for Renyu.
And EDG find themselves 4 kills for 1. This was the kind of team fight that Infinity wanted to avoid at all costs, but EDG make it happen regardless. The wombo combo was beautiful as they funnel Infinity into this choke point and find kill after kill and a 4,000 gold lead.
You can see on your screen right there, gold difference at 15 versus EDG. They were down 6,000 gold in the first game. This game, they were down 2,000, but that team fight just changed the story and pretty much doubled that up to 5K at 16 minutes. That means that although things were looking better up until that fight, this made everything so much more dire. Let's take another look.
And I love the confidence from Scout to just flash in, get the 3-man taunt, the immediate Leona follow-up into the Galio ult follow-up. While you don't get the Galio ulti off, the damage reduction still applies, so it buys a little bit more time, especially with Haro using the stopwatch there to allow Ray to find the kill, get the ultimate down, bring the regeneration in, and if that regen hadn't come through, maybe Infinity could have found a few more kills, but they couldn't pull it off. They end up losing 4 members, and now that gold lead is a 5,000 deficit.
Things have gotten dicey pretty quickly here for the side of Infinity as EDG off the back of that fight feels very comfortable. moving forward into this mid-game with a 5,000 gold lead. Topside, Scout will be the one pushing towards this tier 1 turret on the Galio. Already has the Rod of Ages stacking up, almost up to 10 stacks on that one. Has 7 out of 9 kill participation, the most on the team. Working on the Zhonya's Hourglass next and just smashing that turret out of the picture. This guy has been so critical for EDG so far.
Yes, and it's going to be even more critical as fights get later into the game. Remember that Infinity are very heavily built around AD damage, so EDG can just keep stacking up armor. That's why you're seeing the early Zhonyas come through. Ways in which they can come back, maybe if they can find picks onto EDG's members in the side lane. Look for a dive onto Scout, maybe catch Ray out of position. Things get harder and harder when you're at this big of a deficit this early on, and for Infinity, they're kind of clutching at straws to find ways back into this game.
And let's talk about Ray for a second, though, because he's got the Ravenous Hydra already completed. Black Cleaver's almost done as well. This is the get away Sion, I'm taking the turret whether you like it or not kind of build. You're not really going to suffer a lot of lasting damage because you're just going to heal it all off on the minion wave anyway. That means the only guy that will be able to answer him as the game goes on in the split push will be the Irelia, and Cotopaco only just now completed Trinity Force. He is nowhere near as strong as this Fiora is.
Unfortunately not, and when Fiora gets a lead in a side lane, she's really hard to kill. Like,
yeah,
really hard.
It's
and that Black
a severe difficulty.
I would put it on like level 9 of the level 10 challenge scale. Especially for any of the members on Infinity. You said it in Champ Select, maybe the Irelia can hold her in a side lane, but even then, it gets to a certain point where unless Irelia has a strong enough early game lead, she's going to get out-dueled. It's a tough task for Infinity. They really are relying on EDG to just make those mistakes. And again, they have done it in the past, but the last time these two played, EDG were pretty cutthroat in how they ended the game.
Absolutely, they did end that game at 25 minutes or so. So Infinity definitely wants to make this one last longer than that, but it is up to largely EDG at this point to overcommit to something. It's up to Infinity to be ready to punish. You brought up earlier that you love the reaction time of EDG on that first play in bottom lane, saying, oh hey, teleport opportunity, let's punish right now, go, 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 go. That's what Infinity needs to be able to do if EDG oversteps. But man, this feels dangerous right now, being this far forward, being the ones trying to force your opponents to react when you're 5,000 gold behind. If they do react in time, you're routed.
Look at the Galio moving down towards the mid lane. He was just hanging around. He has the teleport up, he has his ulti up as well. EDG were ready to fight for that tower, but Infinity wisely back off. They don't want to take the risk, they're just slowing the game down. Again, kind of waiting for EDG to make that mistake, but Ray continuing with the pressure in the bot side of the map. Black Cleaver has been finished, he has a red buff as well, and he's just making mincemeat of that tower.
And of that Sion, with the grand challenge issued for Vitals, means Sion's almost completely dead. They're looking to stop the ulti to get himself away. Ray's still gonna be taken rather low, still gonna be shut down. Kill credit goes over to the AD carry of Infinity, but is it gonna be enough? Featherstorm comes out. iBoy still looking to go further underneath the turret. Can't grab the damage he needs. Another turret shot into him, almost finishes him off. It's a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. They shut down the enemy top laner, and for Infinity, that fight is okay. Topside, Scout with the outplay takes down Cotopaco in the one-on-one. We'll have to get a replay of that one later. Infinity holding on for now, but woo.
Big stuff there for EDG, but again, it also highlights the mistakes that we were talking about. Ray diving a Sion without the full support from his team. He ends up losing his life too, which means that Infinity end up trading 1-for-1, but then of course the solo kill happens towards the top side, and I like the ambition from Cotopaco, the fact that he tries to dive Scout underneath his own tower to try and secure a kill, a small advantage back in favor of his team, but they were not quite able to pull it off. They do keep the bot tier 2 alive for the time being. The gold gap has not snowballed even further in favor of EDG, but still heavily in control of the game, really dictating the pace, forcing Infinity to constantly react to whatever EDG throw at them.
Infinity has got to be comfortable on their back foot because they are going to be on it for most of, if not the rest of this game. EDG continuing to maintain and build upon that lead. 6,000 gold now. The tune of that song they're playing as they secure vision over the Baron area. 22 minutes into the game, Baron's a possibility, especially when you have Xayah and Fiora. If you get a couple of picks and you can set this team up to take that objective, it is easy money, Vedia.
Oh, it certainly is. EDG are doing exactly that. They pushed out the mid lane, they've got the vision set up around it. At the very least, they could force Infinity to come fight them. And EDG, they're more than happy to fight at this point in the game. I don't know if they can see Arce, I don't think they can. He needs to be careful, but EDG, they're not quite aware of where he is.
Now, we were talking earlier about, okay, how are Infinity going to make things happen after the early game didn't really go their way, and we talked about SolidSnake, about how he could do something with a Nocturne ultimate. Tell me, Vedius, as an avid Nocturne player, if you have a Warrior Enchantment and just now bought Black Cleaver, and you're in this state of a game, you probably don't want to go in too far, do you?
Nope, you really, really don't, and it's because of how squishy you are, and
iBoy! Killer Instinct, not quite killer enough. Killer Intent this time around, but EDG will continue to four-man push into the mid lane. Ray backs off from the bottom side to rotate up to the team fight if they needed him. EDG backing everyone away towards that Baron now. Renyu has no ultimate. He has no flash. They know that. They're ready for that. Scout channeling the taunt. Not going to get anything out of that one. Expecting Infinity to maybe face check the brush. Ray's still hanging around the bottom lane. Does have a TP ready to go, but is half HP.
So the ban gets started off by EDG. Infinity have no vision of this part of the map. They're slowly making their way in, and now EDG look for the fight.
Zenith Blade barely missing on that one. Arce just gets himself out of the way in time. Bottom side, Ray's gonna take the turret. TP gonna be used here from the Sion. Looking to come into the fight. Infinity already losing half HP on their mid laner, who's knocked back into the rest of the team, stunned up. Keeps himself alive for now. TP also gonna be used by Ray, and Infinity decides to call off the fight.
Ray is still pushing in towards the bot side. EDG, I thought they might want to try and interrupt the teleports, or the recalls rather, but instead they notice a big minion wave up towards the top side of the map that they need to go and grab. They also don't want to concede all this midway pressure, so they choose not to overextend. They reset for the time being, and Infinity, they hold off EDG from securing the Baron.
EDG demonstrating some patience here as the gold lead continues to build to the objectives being taken by Ray. 7.5 thousand gold, 24 minutes into the game. They were pretty much on the Nexus at this point the first time these two teams played, so it has been a better showing from Infinity this time around, but considering just how outclassed they seemed the first time these two teams fought, Infinity, no one expected Infinity to win this game coming into this. They were the absolute underdog. They would have to pull off some kind of an incredible adjustment from game number one to find the win here. They've made good adjustments. I like what I'm seeing from them this game compared to the first game, because the first game was a complete wipe.
Yes.
This game, they've struck back. They've found moments of success.
Yep.
But it's still not enough. EDG just seems so far in control. Outside of a major error, I don't see how you come back into the game, but they're going to look to do it right now. Looking to find the team fight initiation is Infinity, but SolidSnake's going to be taken low already.
They get iBoy!
But iBoy's already going to be killed. The double kill over to Cotopaco. Infinity have found multiple members of EDG. Scouts now in some trouble underneath the turret, but they're still looking to collapse with the full might of the team. Arce's in the back line. Infinity needs to finish the rest of them off. Meiko's going to be taken low. Scout's going to be taken low. Shut down over to Cotopaco. More damage coming through. You gotta be kidding me. Ace, Infinity Esports.
Infinity find the dream team fight against Edward Gaming. The Baron is in their eyes. They have all 5 members alive. And Infinity, it is happening.
Get in my time machine with me, Vedius. We're going back to Worlds 2017 right now. EDG up against SKT, 10,000 gold. It's a mid lane team fight. It's a Rakan flank from the left bush, and it kills everybody, and it does it here again.
Infinity do it. They pull off the miracle, they find the team fight, and the initial engage, it even misses. It doesn't land onto iBoy, but everything else does. Look at that stun into knockup. Cotopaco dives onto iBoy, who's chained CC for so long. The peel doesn't come out fast enough. EDG gets split apart, and then the chase comes down from the rest of Infinity. Such a fantastic fight. Beautiful execution, and all the pieces finally come together as EDG fall to Infinity.
I couldn't have cast or cursed it at a better time. If you're an Infinity fan, saying it seemed almost impossible barring a major error from EDG, but the execution was so good there from Infinity to catch them off guard. Again, the sense of deja vu. That is almost the exact same spot SKT did it a year ago.
And redemption for Cotopaco as well. He played that team fight phenomenally, and after being solo killed twice against Scout. He finally makes a fantastic team fight happen for his team, and now Infinity, 5 members alive, all barrened up, are knocking on the doors of EDG's base.
All barrened up, both barrels blazing, marching down the mid lane, seeing if they can break the EDG base. They've got ults ready.
We talked about it, Flowers. EDG, once they get past the 15 to 20 minute mark, that's when they start to let the ball slip. That's when they start to slow down. And Infinity, they capitalized upon that moment. They saw it and they made it happen. You can see Infinity with first Baron have a record of 13-0, and they're going in again.
Arce's going in yet again, looking to find that initiation. They're still underneath the turret though. This could be good. We'll see if they can find the damage. iBoy's out of the picture. This could be the team winning fight. We'll see if they're able to find the damage over the rest. Meiko's already going to be brought down. Scout as well. Infinity Esports, you just did it!
Infinity, 5-0 once again, will rip through the heart of EDG and find the upset win.
To infinity and beyond, the nexus in their sights. God bless, they take down EDG.
I was not expecting that. One team fight into a Baron, into a team fight into the end. Infinity, they make it happen. And now this group has been blown wide open. You know, we talked about it, man. We talked about it. EDG, we came into this game saying, you know what? With all the hype built up around
It's their weakness.
It's their weakness, man. Congratulations to Infinity. They made Latin proud with that win.
Beginning of this game, I said fans are going to be asking, this is the first time we sent somebody not named Rainbow 7. Did we send the right team? Infinity just signed on the dotted line. Hell yeah, you did. What a performance from that squad. What an upset, what a comeback. That is exactly what you want to see at Worlds. Those are the moments you only get during moments like these.
Playing stage, man. Like
during stages like these.
We saw the upset against G2. We saw Cloud9 almost dropping the game to Damnation Focus Me, and now we see EDG dropping the game as well. This has been one of the most hyped playing stages we've ever seen, and that was a fantastic win for Infinity.
Infinity did it, and for more on their historic upset, I need to get a breakdown from the analysts.
You know what? I'm not going to mince words. That was the biggest upset we have seen in play-ins so far. If you look at how EDG demolished Infinity on day one, this is such a great honor and so well done by Infinity. But of course, we just want to laugh at Rapper.
Raz is broken. His jaw has been open for the last like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's like, this is not happening. They're turning it around. This is okay.
I think Flowers was expecting a different kind of breakdown.
I am broken down.
All right, so let's straight off the bat, Raz, we'll let you relive the moment and let's look at that game ending.
Oh, God, I gotta say, Cotopaco and Relic played the last couple fights super well. Multiple man knockups out of Relic. Cotopaco weaving in and out to drop turret aggro at different points in the combo. Killing iBoy was really kind of what allowed them to take this fight, but the fact that we even got to this point in the game is insane to me.
So I would like to leave room to talk about EDG's comp and whatnot in just a bit, but mainly now I want to focus on how Infinity in the end pulled it back, and that's why I want to look at the replay that happens before this one. And this is really the game-turning team fight, where all was lost, Arce goes in.
Good call. Remember, he gets them all. This was epic from Relic. 3-man knockup, spending enough time to take down Ray because he's not on a tank. Remember this. This is EDG flexing a little bit. They learned a lesson in Gauntlet, putting Ray on a tank so they can team fight properly, but this was them recognizing when they were strong. Infinity goes straight in, and they just continue to dive. This was so beautiful from them.
It was absolutely beautiful. I think it also must feel freaking great. I mean, they come here as a representative from the LLN. Everyone's saying, where the hell is Rainbow 7? Who is Infinity? This is Infinity. And they bring honor to the LLN and more, possibly.
This is the best performance I've seen. Remember LLN last time, Rainbow 7 versus Team WE. This is something we look towards. And they pushed Team WE to the edge, but they didn't get that victory.
Yeah.
This time around, this was a complete stomping in the later game team fights. Like, the fact that the Triumph proc kept going on for Irelia meant that she kept diving forward.
And we'll see how this group then evolves, because everything is looking a bit crazy now also for the Direwolves. But now, of course, inevitably, Raz, we need to talk about EDG. And to your credit, you both said when the draft came out, they should be able to win because they're the better team. But we don't love that Fiora.
No, there was a moment where, coming out of the second ban phase, I looked at Raz and I said, this is a game where they should take Sion with this pick, even though they haven't seen the enemy top laner yet, because that's what they would do domestically, and they should do that. But we both said they're not going to. They're going to leave it for Ray to counterpick with a carry, and that's exactly what happened, and this is exactly why they don't do it domestically.
Can you give me a bit more like context on not maybe just the pick, but the way EDG approached this mid-game and how you've seen precedent for this in the LPL?
A lot of the times when they have this large of a lead, this is really well done from EDG as a squad, where they would just try and bully through mid lane as they have great side lane control. This time around, the side lane control was a little easier because they got the counter pick matchup with the Fiora. So then they try and team fight with it. So team fighting as a Fiora is kind of difficult. You don't get to see it too much. In the LPL, you see it a little bit more when you have 3 items underneath you. But in this stage, you see the difficulty when you don't have all your ducks in order. Ray goes in and loses just about everything. And so from EDG, everything goes down the window because they don't have the direction necessarily. Remember, this is Haro coming in, not Clear Love. So this is, you know, the first game on an international stage for Haro.
Do you think this is damning for him now?
I think remember, there are not a lot of games here, so you're right. If you're EDG, you want to probably put Clear Love back in. But all of this being said, this was excellent team fighting from Infinity. Coming into this, I actually had Infinity coming out of the group stage when I noticed that Schernfire was not going to be playing. And the reason for it was based off their strong team fighting. A little bit worse than EDG as a whole, but this is incredible for the squad.
Small reply.
I was just going to say, this wasn't really fair to Haro because usually what we were seeing in their regional qualifier run was him on the carry and Ray on the tank, and that's what was working for them. And this is the flip of it and not really playing to the whole team's strength.
No, I actually would love to see him just be put in again for the next game to see the real him. But we'll have to see. We need to crown our MasterCard player of the game, Cotopaco from Infinity, the mid laner who came here to prove something. And he couldn't do anything on game 1, but here he pulls out the Irelia.
It was so hard to make the decision between him and Relic because in the team fight, it was a tag team between the both of them to get the job done. Really well done, and to get the 3-man knockup and to just ace it. Another dive too, just straight up confidence.
Yeah, give him the shot calling and GG heart and the stayed cool because this, you know, to make that kind of call for the whole team in that moment where you know you can win and then to follow it up with the Baron and the win is for me maybe even more impressive.
I mean, it's especially just given how their first matchup against them went. They were literally getting memed and Cotopaco was, you know, getting made fun of quite a bit. And to have him turn around and be probably the largest factor given that we gave him player of the game in that turnaround is just such a good redemption story for him and the entire squad.
Yeah, once again, congratulations to Infinity. Hopefully we can see more from them today. And if Infinity Esports just earned you as a fan, make sure that you're picking up Championship Kha'Zix and the team-specific Chroma so that you can celebrate Worlds in-game with all the swag available in shop. After that, we need a break, we need a breather, but when we return, it is Supermassive versus Ascension. More action after this.
Haro shows up now as well to make sure that if they're sticking around, they are going to be taken down. Scout decides to go all the way in, and the Winds of War will find their target.
Here we go.
There comes the play. It's going to be 3v3, though. They ran it to the side of EDG, but they're still going to lose their AD carry. He's already been taken down. The damage goes through, and now Meiko might be in some trouble here. The enemy AD carry, a double kill over now. iBoy's already going to be killed. The double kill over to Cotopaco. Infinity have found multiple members of EDG. Shut down over to Cotopaco. More damage coming through. You gotta be kidding me. Ace, Infinity Esports. This could be good. We'll see if they can find the damage. iBoy's out of the picture. This could be the team-winning fight. We'll see if they're able to find the damage over the rest. Meiko's already going to be brought down. Scout as well. Infinity Esports, you just did it!
Welcome back to Assist of the Week. During the TSM and Cloud9 qualifier match, Cloud9 was looking to solidify their lead against TSM. Near Baron, Zeyzal and Blabber launched themselves into TSM, causing them to retreat. This scare tactic allowed Cloud9 to use their ultimates efficiently and take down 4 members of TSM.
The fear, here comes the dive. They'll pick up Mithy.
up more than he can chew. Doesn't find the pullback. It's a 5v3. He's still diving with the ultimate. Oh!